Hello, everyone. I'm Ronan Unchained, and welcome back to another live stream talking a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, y'all. We are talking spoilers. This is the finale, y'all. If you have not seen the show or the finale, please, for the love of God, go watch this episode and come back and hang out with us because we're gonna dive into a lot of stuff in this concluding episode. Um, I haven't talked to the boys yet on how they feel about this finale, so I'm very eager to see how they are doing. And the boys being Brent and Jake. Muchachos, how we doing?
Hey,
Doing good. Doing good.
Good. And no, for anybody who's been watching our streams these past few weeks, no, I'm not forgetting. As always, again, the boys don't have to say nothing, but until stuff, at least for this series, I'm gonna be doing it. Fuck guys, chinga la migra, and free Palestine. And I think Sir Duncan the Tall would agree with me on that, especially
Yeah.
with the show he's been.
Oh yeah. And you know what? I've said it a few times. I'll say it again. Magneto was right.
Sadly.
yeah,
All right, boys. I'm gonna start with Brent.
yeah,
It's over.
it's
How
over.
you feel?
Well, it's over for now because
now.
first things I saw was like, yeah, season 2's been picked up. I'm like, yes. I was really happy with that news this week. So for now, I had a really good time with this episode. I wouldn't actually call it my favorite episode of the season. I think there's been some really well done episodes this season. I would say that this episode did really well in closing off the characters for me. I like the fact that each character that interacted with Dunk had some closure to the season at least. And we got some really nice closure stuff there going on. Obviously the first, with Lionel in the first opening scene to Raymond having a moment to Prince
Makar.
whatever.
Yeah.
Maker. It is Maker. Yeah, I'm terrible with names. You'll get that from me guys. And so I did like all those closure scenes, and including Arlen of Pennyworth as well. I think Pennytree, sorry. I think he had a really good closure point to this arc. I think it was well done. It was what I was hoping for, but wasn't expecting from the last episode, because I really kind of came into this episode not really truly knowing where it was going to go from here. But I feel like that where it ends up, where it leaves off, is exactly where I would really happily like to continue seeing this story. So that's my perspective.
Nice. Jake?
Yeah, I kind of like Brett. I would not say that this episode was my favorite of the season, but a really strong finale. It brought the characters' arcs that had started either from the beginning or maybe in the middle. You've got a really epilogue feeling for the story that was told in this season, and for a lot of characters, you had some who had like there were some that had satisfactory endings, some quite tragic endings, but they the way that they round things off, for this story that they told in this first season, I think really works. But you just know that there's more coming, and it really gets you excited to see what more they go into. And when a season finale is able to do that, I think they've done something right.
I agree. Yeah, I really like this finale. I too don't think it's the best or my favorite episode. I think it's, to be quite frank, episodes 3, 4, and 5 I think are practically almost perfect in my opinion. And then after those, I would put this one, and then episode 2, and then episode 1. And granted, I really like episode 1. So there really hasn't been a bad episode this season.
No, that hasn't.
And if it continues to get better for the most part, that's a good sign. So
Yeah.
if the start of your season is the weakest point, that doesn't mean the start is bad.
Right.
It just means it keeps getting better.
Yeah. They did the right job in the development of the characters, and that's which is kind of fun. It's nice. You don't want to be thrown and thrust in the middle of everything straight at the beginning. You really do need to reinvest time in developing brand new characters and a brand new time period in this world. and I think they did it nicely, and I was really on board for the ride of it, and I'm still on board for season 2, wherever that may take us. So yeah.
Before we dive into the actual episode itself on moments, I want to say shout out to people who are commenting on the section below. T. O'Neill says, I laughed at how everything circled back to eggs, mischievously lying again. Dunks off to a great start in the new and adventures in Targaryen sitting. I like what they lightly seeded for tales to come. Cast-wise, Peter Claffey, Dexter, Ansell, Daniel Ings, Danny Webb, Bertie Carvel, Sam Spruill, and Sean Thomas, I thought put in solid performances. House of the Dragon Season 3 has a lot of work to do this summer, as well as the Mad King play that's running this summer as well. I agree. We'll probably talk about that a little bit towards the end. That's being put up by the Royal Shakespeare Company. And
Nice.
Jeffrey says, hi. Hey, Jeffrey. Glad to see you, man.
Hey.
But yeah, I did not expect to start this episode with a jazz tone and music. And it's just fucking Lionel staring at Duncan resting, and he's like just not messing with him, but just be like, oh man, what about? And he gets his own doctor to look at him. He's like, you're not worth shit. Fuck off. Be gone with you. And we get like a good, like the first, I think it was the first time Duncan and Lionel argued, because Lionel kept saying, fuck the dragon. The only good dragon is a dead dragon. And Duncan be like, dude, he died for me. Like, can you respect it? And like, I didn't appreciate what Lionel was doing, but in some regards, Lionel has a point, because he's like, no. I fought for you. You're the Apple dude, all the other guys, we fought for you. The prince had his whole family guarding him. He had nothing to lose for this. And I'm like, I get that angle, but I was just like, dude, this is the Targaryen that went out of his way to oppose his family's point of view and stand up for someone like Duncan. It was fascinating to see Lionel's and Duncan's juxtaposition, because even before the argument, he's like, you should come with me. We're gonna hang out. I'll treat you and love you like a brother. And then while he's like, nah, I'm gonna fucking hate you like a brother. And it's a very Baratheon vibe to him. And so how do you guys feel about Lionel and Duncan's interaction?
Good.
Oh, okay. First, I like it that Lionel just is outright flat with reality, the truth. Even if it's blunt and harsh, it's still the truth that he's talking about. And I actually had to stop and think about what he was saying there too. I really was like, as the audience member, I was like, wow, yeah, he actually does have that protection, that was going to, Baelor had that protection that was going to protect him and not really do any, what we thought was going to be much harm to him. So ultimately, it was a really cool interaction. I feel like the other thing as well is it was the first of these options that Dunk was able to take away as options post this joust to go where he decides he eventually wants to go. And he's being offered everything left, right, and center to him, and ultimately doesn't take any of those choices as granted, kind of thing. So I think that was also a really cool moment to, see these choices that he's been given. So yeah.
Yeah. So I was surprised, like you said, I didn't expect this episode to start in the lighthearted nature and tone that it did, because that's in stark contrast to how last episode ended. So if you're just binging both of them back to back with, even though I love this series, I don't know if it's best watched in a binge format. But if you were to go straight from last episode to this one, it's a stark contrast. And but they don't lose that overall tone and feeling that the series has had up to this point, because there will be parts of the world that are figuratively and literally more darker or lighthearted than others. And that's just going to happen regardless of where you go. The whole dynamic between him and Lionel, again, it kind of has that yin yang sort of factor to it, where he's, on one side, he's saying like, you've done this place a realm of kindness. You'll see that one day. And like, you think he's complimenting him, think he's singing his praises. And then it shifts for the audience. It doesn't even shift for him. It shifts for Duncan, the audience, when he says the only good dragon is a dead dragon. He thinks he's continuing to sing the praises, but that's immediately where the switch happens, and you can see the shift from right there, and that really set into motion Dunk's catharsis that he goes through in this episode, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And it's weird because it follows up with, and sadly I couldn't get the visuals, but like the funeral. There's no dragon to, someone say Tagore, and like they just lit him on fire, and Dunk is from a distance paying his respects. And then Dunk talks to his son.
Yeah.
And be like, there's this great line. He says like a lot of sons wear their father's armors and die with them. Like how many fathers die in their son's arms? And I was like, oof.
Yeah.
And I love the Dunk, but just like couldn't say anything, but like give his condolences. He's like he was a good man. Like I'm sorry for this, what happened.
Yeah.
And he said like he would have been a good king. He's like, why would the gods take him and leave you?
Yeah.
And Dunk being like, I still ask myself that. I'm like, why me?
Because he even said that what is it? Lionel's like, the gods don't favor a fraud, and Dunk said, why do they favor me then?
Yeah.
Mind-bending, dude. Like it's very.
Well, it's well crafted in the wording for sure.
It's bleak with its dialogue because it without swearing or anything, it just the words have so many stones that just are thrown on top of Duncan's shoulders, and he's limping. He's not fully like function again, and he's just like poor bastard. It just like, dude, it's one thing to get into the joust. One thing to survive it. The third thing is the aftermath. I'm like, okay, you lived. Now, what does that mean for you? What does that mean for the realm? Yeah. What does that mean? How you feel? How you view the realm, and how the realm views you? And how much that might have consequences down the line, I don't know. But then again, there's a good balance of like, all right, we feel the catharsis, we feel the weight of the Targaryens and how they're in mourning. Yeah. And we go to Dunk. We follow Dunk, and I think even he says that like people just look at me and like look weird. Like I killed him and in some regards he says like I don't blame him for seeing that way. And he goes to his best friend who hugs him, but then we realize, this was shacked up. As soon as the job was over, this was shacked up.
Yeah, it didn't take Raymond long, did it? He became a knight. Got the go.
No, it did not.
Shacking up, that's one thing, but then putting a ring. Well, I don't know if they said a ring, but like already getting married, and then there's a kid in the way, and I remember, Dunk's face.
Someone's gonna tell Raymond how this plan kind of works.
Like, dude,
and she got pregnant last night. Like she's a bun in the oven right now. Oh, it's mine.
No.
Yeah,
I took a good.
Yeah. Can you just imagine how the talk would go in that kind of world?
Me and my friends were watching it. We were all like, "No, dude, you're stuck in the escort business. Don't do that. Don't do that."
The button comes out with blonde hair and just Targaryen.
Now we just need the Westeros version of "You Are Not the Father."
And here's the weird thing: that, like again, it's the beats go on. Like Duncan is shocked that like he got laid. I think even before he did, and he was smiling and happy for him. And I was like, okay, you got married, cool, congrats. And then it wasn't until he saw the bump that I was like, oh no. And again, the lady recognized Dunk. They know each other, and she's like, nice to meet you, Sir Duncan. And it's like, nice to meet you.
And see, Dunk knew, but Raymond was just on whatever Westeros version of Cloud9 is.
And again, it's fascinating to see her because we're introduced to her, and she's just like, at one point she makes fun of Duncan, and then apologizes like, we didn't mean to make fun of you. And then we see her, and she's cheering for him in the joust.
Yeah.
And again, this is the world of Westeros. And we see her, she's back to business, and it's like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna hang tight and hopefully get someone to provide. I thought it was funny and ridiculous at the same time. How do you guys feel about where this leads off for him? Like, I really hope in season 2, because again, when we get to it, I hope this is not the last time we see of this character. I really hope it's not the last time because he was such a
I hope-
great
yeah,
MVP of this season of television, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, I hope we see all these characters pop up somewhere in between season 2 and 3, and however long we go
Yeah.
for. Just interactively, crossing paths or whatever. I think they did a really good job at keeping this light humor after a very dark, episode from last week, and how intense last week was, and they did it very well. That it broke that, that darkness a little bit, and it needed to too. You couldn't have gone into this episode with Dunk, really down and somber, and without some sort of light perspective from everyone he's been interacting with. For the most part.
Yeah.
So this was the second light interaction that we got, in this episode, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. A little silly, but it was perfectly timed with everything of humor and just the moment. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that's what I think an episode like this kind of needs, because again, because of how gloomy the last episode ended, you want some of that lighthearted nature into this one, but also because you're rounding out the season and everything that it's done, I think that mix of tones is important, so it can, in a sense, pay tribute to everything that the season's been up to that point. You could see bits of the darkness, the maturity, the lightheartedness, the world building, the character interactions, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the, I don't know if you want to get into this part, but it just makes me think of something in the episode that kind of represents that. Lionel's whole mental debate that he goes through on the whole plan of the Kingsguard, and it makes you. I like that it's left up to interpretation on whether or not his choice to join up with Dunk is any more or less honorable. It kind of lets the viewer make up their own mind on that one.
Yeah.
So
leaves it to interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah. I like very much that it did that, and that it just didn't give a concrete answer.
Yeah. Pluto 24 saying make car the GOAT. Right on. Thank you for being here, Pluto 24.
That picture's amazing.
Something that is amazing, and yet you just the whole time we're watching, we're like, what is gonna happen? Is Dunk is summoned. He is summoned by the family. And even before that, the little girl, the daughter of the guy who runs this part of the of Westeros, he's like, I don't blame you for what happened. Like, what they did to you was unjust, and I'm sorry for what you went through. He's like, thanks. And then he gets brought up to talk about him, but Makar calls him, and again, they're both in mourning, I guess, being like, everybody's gonna blame me for the death of my brother, and very almost sad line of whenever a battle is lost, people are gonna say, they'll say that Baylor, if Baylor was alive, that wouldn't have happened. And you feel the weight on him as a brother, and be like, I didn't mean to kill my brother, but it's what all people are gonna be whispering. And Dunk says, I feel guilt of that as well. And he's like, they're gonna hunt the world, the realm will haunt you as well, because a Hedge Knight lived and someone of blood and royalty died. And it was a good philosophy moment of sitting in a tree and would it had been worth it to give away my hand and my leg for it, and then him saying maybe later on I might need that hand and leg.
And his whole thing, he knows that it's not, that he's not the one at fault for it, and at the end of the day, I love his line where it's some will say I meant to kill my brother, the gods will know it's a lie, but I'll hear the whispers until the day I die. So he knows that by the large, he's not blamed for it, but he's always going to blame himself, and it's an all too real thing that we face as humans.
And go ahead.
No, I was going to say, up to this point, I kind of felt that Makar's relationship with his brother felt a bit like a Targaryen estranged element. There was this element of they weren't particularly close, and they definitely were not the same kind of perspective on things. So when this moment happened, that you really did, it just broke down that this is one brother who just lost another brother. It wasn't the matter of one Targaryen who has seemingly more power, play over the other and this and that. I think it was a very, very intimate, very powerful scene that I was not expecting actually from Makar. From the actor who who played him very well, played that whole scene out, and so did Dunk as well. So
Sam Spruill, I think that's his name.
Yeah. That was a great little scene. I very much enjoyed that. And then of course you got Egg kind of listening in on the whole conversation there, weaving his little plans, I guess.
And hearing his dad and like him saying, "I'm gonna send what's his name, Aemon or the fucking
Aemon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send him off to the Freeland or whatever." He's like, maybe it'll do some good to him to like get away from being up royalty's ass.
Yeah.
And he starts walking the frame and says, I've noticed my son has taken a liking to you. I think it's time for him to be a squire, but he won't squire anybody but you.
Yeah.
And tells them, "Will you?"
But here's the stipulation or rules: you have to do it around me. Yeah.
Around, but the like, will you have him? Yeah. And you see in his face that like. Yeah. He knows I need to do something to my kids. If not, this shit's gonna happen all over again. Yeah. And you see in that face of when you have him means him. It's almost him, not necessarily forgiving Dunk, but almost without saying an analogy like, "This isn't all your fault. This isn't your fault. But let's try to mend things right." And I think even in him saying that is him saying, in the memory of my brother and for what he would have done and what he stood for. Yeah. Let's try to mend something. Let's meet halfway and like. Please, will you have my son as your squire? But you hang out with us, and hell, I'll even teach you. Like my Kingsguard will teach you. Yeah. And I love that. Like at the beginning of the show, he tells them, "Okay, you thanked my brother. Fuck off." And there's what he says: "I have no doubts Sir Alan taught you well, but there's still a lot for you to learn."
Yeah.
And I thought that was like the olive branch of olive branches in this moment.
Wow.
Because the season's been slowly building up to that squireship. They teased it as early as episode 2, so they're paying it off now.
Yeah, this also goes back to what I said at the beginning. It's like he's been given these really, really solid, strong options of choices that he can pick from, and now that he's kind of had a taste of each of these other elements, it's good to see Dunk formulating in his head what is going to be best for him, but possibly what is going to be best, for Egg, by the end of the episode, kind of thing.
Because now he has to think about them both.
Yeah.
And I was shocked to hear Dunk. Oh, go ahead, Brent.
No, the fact that he would turn Dunk away and say, "No, I'm not going to take him," that was like, okay, interesting. I mean, actually, I'll be honest, I wasn't surprised that was going to be a moment here at this point in the story. We still had 15 minutes left of the episode, and it was,
it's plausible.
It doesn't couldn't be that easy. It couldn't be that easy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that he just felt like there's no way I'm getting anybody else's blood on my hands, especially your family.
Yeah.
And and again, poor Egg was spying on him or hearing him, and this was so beautiful. Seeing Egg in this outfit, and like trying to beg his way of like, "Please take me," and Dunk saying, "I'm sorry, man, I can't." Yeah. And the most like hard line of like, "Then you're probably not the knight I thought you were," and it's just like,
ooh.
Man,
some of the writing and dialogue here, it just hits you like a ton of bricks.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because you see this kid like he's basically in puberty. I mean, he said as much. Like these are the defining moments of his life.
Yeah.
He grew up a little too fast, though.
Yeah, that's the sad part about it all. And I sadly I couldn't bring it up, but like you see Dunk goes away and thinks about it, and it's like I think he's trying to process it as much as he can about where he can go with life right now. He survived the joust, he won, He got the honor he wanted, but it came at a great cost. And the effect it has on him, and the effect now it has on Egg. Again, sadly, I couldn't pull up the visuals, but like we go back to Egg, and he's sitting in his room. He gets up, he goes to the mirror, and he's seeing that his white hair is growing back. Yeah. And it's almost like, his ancestry is crawling back on him, almost like in a haunting way of like, no, you are Targaryen, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And
that's that push and pull.
And you see him pick up a knife, and he goes to his brother's room. And is like, oh my gosh, he's gonna try to kill his brother, and his dad is there.
Yeah.
And you just see him freeze up and then like, man, it is a fucked up moment of seeing Dexter, poor Dexter. Kudos to that kid. Like him, like freezing up, and his dad gets up and puts his arms on his shoulders, and you see him like lynch him to his side and drops the knife, and you see him crying because he was like, not only like am I like that I have a big hand on bringing all this to come into fruition, but I just almost dare to kill my brother. And mentally, he is banging all the walls in his head of like, oh my gosh, I am fucked up in the head. And like he instantly, I don't know if he regrets, but he's like, oh my gosh, thank God I put the knife down, and thank God my dad was here. And who knows when the last time his dad went out of his way to put his hand on his shoulders to his son. And I think in that moment, I think his dad was like, oh my gosh, we're doomed. My family is doomed. If my boys are doing like this and behaving like this, we're doomed. And lo and behold, the gods laid mercy on young Egg, and the knock on the door is like, what? Sir Duncan calls for you, sir. And you see Egg. I think for a moment you see a frame of Egg going like, you see the hope in him come back. And Dunk comes back and has his demands and has his stipulations. Like, I'll take him, but my way. And you see the father be like, wait, what? And he's like, he's gonna be a squire the way I was. We're gonna go on the road. He's gonna stay away from the fancy houses. He's not gonna have a butler around him, and it might do him some good to be away from all the fancy stuff. And the father brings it up, what, his family? And it's just like, what do you want me to say, dude? You guys put up, you have to stick up your asses. Like there's a reason why the realm doesn't like you guys.
Like there's so much turmoil around that family, and it'll actually let Egg, come into his own outside of them, and allow him to make his own name, build his own character, because that's what people respected about Dunk so much, is that he was just a guy that built his own name and rep. And Egg, I think deep down, I think that's what Egg wants.
For me, I was going to say that moment with Egg when he comes in with the knife, that was probably the most defining moment of the episode for me. It was such a powerful moment. This kid has a choice that is he going to become like the rest of his family and what the rest of the world expect of the Targaryens, or will he not do this? And the fact his father was there in the shadows of the room was a very powerful moment, that the father kind of almost guessed this is a possibility that this could happen. Was Egg obviously had his head, and he was at his wit's end with his brother at this point. And this is the only way, this is the only direction that Egg could have gone. And this is what he doesn't want for his son. And I think that was such a very defining moment on as I said, the episode and Egg specifically, and Makar as well. So for him to eventually, go through and say, well, and be given Dunk's choice, at least, even though he refused it, was such was the option that we all know as the audience is what has to happen with Egg. He can't be near the Baratheons. He can't be near the Targaryens. He can't be near any of them. He needs to be taken on the road with Dunk, and that was always and the only choice to hopefully have Egg come through as a successful, loved king down the line.
And he says he's not a prince yet; he's a kid. And I think, again, as an audience member who's probably not a big Targaryen fan, or probably despises the Targaryens, I think what this episode did well, and that's what that specific moment did, is I haven't spent time with the rest of the world who watched this episode, but I can only imagine people who either despise or hate or don't like the Targaryens had a bit of sympathy come out of them watching that scene of being like,
Yeah.
dude, let the kid go and like let him give him a shot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think what
Yes,
even
yeah.
Makar and Duncan recognized in that moment, they're like, Baylor might have been a great king, but you got a chance with the kid now, because if the kid is finding humility at this young of age, and if he goes on the road and lives among the people, eats and shits and all this stuff, he will be a king of the people because he lived with them. He was surrounded by the people, and the people will recognize like, okay, this dude was he didn't stay his old teenage years in a king size bed with everything.
He got to live like them. Live like the peasants.
That'll make the king that can relate to the peasants more because he's been in their shoes.
Yeah.
And again, like initially when his brother was telling him, like, I see you, telling Dunk, I see you, sir. You're standing with a dragon dead one eye, and we realized like, oh, that was he was referring to his uncle.
Yeah.
And how much of that stuff can change. And you see what the lady was saying about like Egg and like, you'll be a king one day and then die and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, well, let's see how much of that stuff can maybe change, or maybe it was something else that was being viewed.
Yeah, because prophecies can be looked at in one perspective, and that was my first reaction. Always trust the prophet who's telling you something that's going to happen to these characters, because it's the great Game of Thrones world, and it ain't going to be pleasant if they're telling a bad prophecy. But you're right.
True.
Dunk does have this ability to change what he knows is forthcoming. There are two other scenes that happen up at this point, but though he didn't really kind of cross over. And that was one when we did when Dunk met with the other brother, the one with the powers.
Yes, the one
which
was
was
like,
it was just a very nice little scene, because it's like, again, other options that Dunk has been given, and then the other one that I really loved, and I don't know if you was sitting down with Alan Pennytree as he's dying, which again was another fantastic little light-hearted moment that, after the harshness of last week's episode, we needed, because it was just funny. And it was out of place. It was so out of place in that field, but it was still a great moment. And did this episode need it? Probably not. Did we need it as the audience? Yeah, we definitely need
I think we did need it. And again, I'm glad you brought those scenes up, because Egg's brother is almost in essence telling Dunk, you know what? Aemon wasn't always a bad kid. And I think he even again in a sarcastic way tells him, "Oh, well, thank God, Egg will be just fine. He'll be the next another great king." And it's almost like him saying a warning to Dunk. Dunk, you need to take my brother away. Like if you don't want him, if you don't want another Aemon, if you don't want him to fall down the path that Aemon fell, you need to do this.
And he's seen it now, so he knows what it leads to.
So the father of Egg told him to take his son, and now his brother is telling him, please take Egg. And I think this is a lot about what this joust did to the family. Besides losing a family member, I think everybody looked at each other inside and said, Egg is the youngest. Let's not rob him of the chance of being his own person. And the whole thing with Sir Arlen, it was kind of sad, because you see Dunk crying and be like, oh my gosh, don't do this to me. And I think it kind of confirms that maybe Dunk wasn't knighted, because Sir Alan was just drunk at that point. And he was like, and that line of like, a knight doesn't forget his mission, or whatever he says. And I was like, again,
always finishes the story. I wish Armando would actually take a lesson from that.
From the grave, his old mentor, his old father figure, telling him, "Hey, man, you got a job to do. Do your job." And
so, I have another. I mean, I don't know how the book plays it. The moment where he looks like he dies, and then suddenly just comes alert. It felt, I mean, obviously it was recapping the way we saw Dunk when Dunk was knocked down and he is, get up kind of thing. But my question there was that moment actually where he did die, and those lines after that were they in Dunk's head? That was another thought that crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Because if this is where he died and he wasn't knighted, then Sir Alan was, hearing those words and could have still knighted him even right there at his deathbed. Why didn't he? I think that was more the biggest question. Why didn't he? Was that a possibility that we got this, what was in Dunk's head? And I don't think they haven't played it like that, but it did cross my mind as that he really did die at that moment. And I don't know, maybe not. I don't know.
I didn't think about that. I'm like, that is plausible, which
Yeah.
I think it links up because there's a moment that I noticed that we'll get to the end, to the last shot.
Sure.
But we do see that, like, after all these, Makar tells him he's my last son.
Yeah.
And it's like a father being like, I can't risk it. I can't risk losing my son.
Mm-hmm.
So Duncan prepares himself to go on his own way.
Yeah.
He's getting his horses, and then his friend shows up with
Raymond. Yeah, I can't remember the horse's name.
The horse's name, the white one, which is the one he called off.
Sweetfoot, is that
Sweetfoot.
it?
Could be, yeah. I want to say Shadowfax, but it's the wrong universe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries, I understood that though.
And you see how Dunk tells him, no, it's your horse now. It's like, you take my horse. And the sweet moment of, like, till next time, my friend. And he even takes off from his sword the penny of Sir Alan's, like, insignia and puts it in the tree, and like, all right, this is
that was good.
Sir Alan's one now it's my turn to go find my own. And man, I was just waiting for him, like, please do it. And then seeing Dunk almost about the mountaintop, he says, Son Duncan.
Yep.
And Egg jumps off. He's like, my father told me to serve you, and then he says, serve me.
Red flag. I
literally was like, did he really? And he tells them, you get to ride this horse, treat her well, and don't make me don't have me find you with my horse without my permission. And instantly, like, without a second beat, he goes back to the whole training thing of, like, okay, we're gonna do this. You're gonna do it my way. You're gonna listen to me. And it's almost like Egg was waiting for him to lecture him. Like, tell me what to do. Like, tell me what I can do. But I agree. I don't. Again, I suspected it from the kids. Like, there's no way your dad gave you permission to go with Sir Duncan. So And then the whole thing of, like, there's actually 9 kingdoms. It's not 7. It's 9.
Yes.
And he'd be like, what?
And I love whenever they're, like, like off course on the end with Egg's reference to, I hear there's famous puppeteers in Dawn. I love that nod.
I loved it. I loved it.
That nod.
Yeah.
Because he's still playing the wingman. He's like, hey, man, the girl might be there.
Again, that's paying the thematics off with what the season's done up to then. Because when you first see, well, I guess not when you first see Dunk and Tenzel in the same scene, Egg is already playing the wingman there.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about it? They're back at it together again, and they're like, all right, we're gonna go on another journey. It was well earned. It was a well earned scene, and the very ending, of course, is where we see these two ride off, and then you see the essence of Arlen, the old master,
just take a left turn and go off on his way. And I thought that was just a gorgeous framed image. It was so good. It was just such a great moment. Yeah, busy. Like to Fast and Furious 7 of fun, like Toretto and O'Connor go their ways. I saw your reaction, but I actually have never seen Fast and Furious, so that kind of turned me into it, because then I saw later on Twitter today that somebody had put a side by side of the car driving off and Arlen's horse moving off. I was like, oh, I get the reference now.
It was one that I honestly thought of too, and might be a little bit more approachable, but I thought of I honestly thought of the end of the Batman whenever they ride off in their separate ways on the motorcycles.
Yeah.
I liked. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like when Sir Alan takes a left turn, Dunk looks back and looks at him.
Oh, really?
He does look at him.
Oh, nice. I didn't catch that.
Where's he going? So
that's another thing. That's another thing that made me make that connection, where like you have the look back. Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah.
even in death, still Sir
Yeah.
Alan is on Dunk's shoulder,
Yes,
watching him and like being like, okay, well, my job is done. Now it's your turn to be the teacher.
Yeah. The passing of the torch, absolutely.
Passing of the torch.
It was such a beautiful moment. Yeah. I hope that doesn't mean that we don't see flashbacks of Sir Alan in season 2 and all that, because I want to see more. Just those little moments. Another great actor on the show.
And to that point, I saw a comment pop up down there a little bit ago. This episode isn't the finale to the series. Like, there's still a lot more to come.
Oh, totally.
So if anybody has that misconception, there is still a lot more to come. And that what is this? I need to read this. What is it? The Swan Sword? Is that what the second novel is called?
I think so. Hold on, let me see. I have it right here.
Because this was the Hedge Knight that the first novel was.
Yeah.
The Sworn Sword.
Sworn Sword. Okay, I don't know why I thought Swan. But that one, I don't know. Maybe it just could have been the accent in which my friend told me, and I heard Swan.
Swan. Yeah.
It's my friend that told me this does have a bit of an accent. So I need to read that second novel.
Yeah. I don't want to read any of it because I kind of want to enjoy what they give us in. Fair. Well, here's the thing. This dropped today, which was like details of a Seven Night Kingdoms season 2 is now in production. 6 episodes ranging between 30 to 60 minutes. Keep them in the 30 to 35 minute range is perfectly fine with me. Adapting the Swan Sword. That's fine. Yeah. Adapting the Swan Sword, Dunk and Egg will go to Dawn, which is what they kind of leave off of, at that end scene there. The show will stay in Dunk's point of view. That's something we never talked about. It was just like, we really did definitely get this from Dunk's point of view. It was never Egg's point of view. It was always Dunk's point of view. And I think that was well crafted and showed well throughout the season. Yes. George R. Martin is heavily involved in visits to the set on season 2, and I'm not going to say anything else at that point in case there's anything else that gives away. Westeros is in a drought, so I did read releasing 2027. I did read that they're going to actually have to up the budget for season 2 a little bit because they do have to go to different locations, which are warmer location climates. And that actually costs a lot more on the budget. And their budget, from what I understood from season 1, was kind of really small. So,
which I like.
To say justice of what they did with such a small budget. And I don't know, when you're saying small budget in the film world, it might be, millions and millions of dollars. It's not 20 million an episode like Game of Thrones was. But it's
20 million sounds a lot to an average person, but that is tiny for production budgets.
I just don't want it. I just don't want it to get the Joker treatment. We're like, all right, Joker 1 was $50 million, and then Joker 2 was like $250 million, and it's just because you made $1 billion, don't go over like that.
Well, the difference is with this one, they want to make Night of the Kingdoms season 2. Todd Phillips didn't want to make.
They want to,
So, right. But at the same time, requirement of location requires them to have to spend more money. It's not about the fact of, we're all making $1 million an episode or, whatever. It's whatever.
It adds to the realism.
The last little part that I guess we didn't touch on, right, was the last little scene that kind of gave confirmation that
where the fuck
I'm glad that was there, and I'm sure it's in the book. I'm guessing it's in the book, but I really needed that confirmation. Now I didn't want to be left lingering to see, suddenly, the King's Men come up and try to take Dunk away in the future. Which is
I love Maekar so much.
It was great. It was so good. Man. Where the fuck is he?
And that's just the little last punch that you needed because you're not left wondering. Wait, did anything come from this? Oh no, something did. They got screwed.
Yes.
I just ran and reread the last few paragraphs, the last 2 pages. That scene is not in the book.
Oh, it's not really.
Maybe it's in the second. Maybe it's in the second book, which probably in the books they were holding off. Be like, the whole time,
right?
Dunk Egg never got permission to go with Dunk, which I'm like, okay, that's kind of makes sense.
I'm debating on whether or not I want to read Sworn Sword before this because I had read Hedge Knight before this, and before seeing this, but it had been a little bit, so some things I wasn't, weren't as
Clicking.
directly in my mind.
Yeah.
Then as the series got on, I'm like, oh, and then I started, making the connections together in my head. And it didn't necessarily sully the experience for me. If anything, I think catching on like that, it enhanced it.
Enhanced it.
Not as if I was predicting it, but it's just, reading the book was essentially like that feeling you get whenever you get a higher score on a school assignment because you did extra credit or something. So maybe that's the best analogy I can make.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think of this finale, my favorite moment was probably Dunk talking to Makar and giving his reasoning of like your other two sons never lived in a ditch, and they never they never not ate good food and whatnot. Like look what happened to them. Without having sake, look what happened to your other sons.
Yeah.
Like he is your last son, but he's the youngest one. Give me a shot of training him well. And like I think even without saying him, he says like I would give my life to protect Egg. Like I could trust Egg. If I didn't, if your son couldn't bring me down, I'm not going down without a swing. So like I would do my best to protect Egg as much as I can. Yeah. But he's got to see the world. He's got to go out there. He can't, live within these safe, fancy walls. So I love that. That was my favorite moment of the finale. Did you guys have a favorite moment?
For me, I already said it. The moment that Egg came to realization that he was about to become like his brother all by himself, that he was going to kill, that he was really determinedly ready to kill his brother. And it wasn't just, if his father wasn't there, he would have put the knife through his throat right there, is my guess. Yeah. And so that determination, the realization of his father stepping behind him and him realizing that he needs Dunk more than you ever know in this moment and situation was the most powerful moment for me of the episode. So.
And Makar being like trying his best to swallow his pride of like, fuck, he's got a point. Like, like I just saw him almost killed my other son. I'm like he is right, but like I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can pull the trigger. Yeah. Which also makes sense. I'm like, wow, I think more than ever now he has such love and care for his sons. Yeah. Other than them being his offspring. Yeah. Which I thought was very, very fascinating. Man, goddamn, I fucking love the show, man. I fucking love the show. God, I'm gonna miss it. Yeah. But what about you, Jake?
I think my favorite moment, I mean, there were so many standout ones, but the one that I think probably left the most mark is the Dunk Makar interaction that I talked about earlier, where they say, some will say that I meant to kill my brother. The gods know it's not true, but I'll hear the whispers until the day I die. Just because, again, like throughout all the fantasy you see in the show, that's one of those times where those words felt too real, but in the right way, not as in like there are good ways for writing in a show, like for writing in a fantasy show to hit close to home, and then there's bad ways to do it. This was absolutely a good way to do it, because it really just puts the characters in a mental debate. And whenever you see just that push pull that it creates within those characters, is whenever you have character driven arcs like that, those are some of my favorite moments in them.
I agree. Bad folks. To me, it was Duncan and Makar having that discussion of like what's best for Egg, and giving the reasons why. I'm like, this is the reason why Egg should go with me, and in my terms. But yeah, folks, that'll be for this finale. But this is not the last stream we're gonna do about A Night at the Second Kingdom season 1. Next week, we're still trying to figure out what date, either on Sunday or Monday. We are going to be coming back one more time this year, to talk about the show as a whole. We're going to talk about season 1 as a whole, discussing our favorite moments, our least favorite moments, standout performances, characters, and try to best theorize where we're going to go from here. Especially for those who haven't read the book. If by then I have read the book, I'm gonna do my best to stay quiet and let the boys theorize and talk as much as they can. But yeah, before we go, a lot of news came out since this episode dropped, which is like We got a House of the Dragon season 3 teaser,
Mm-hmm.
and the announcement of the Mad King play being put up at the Royal Shakespeare Theater or Royal Shakespeare Company.
Yeah.
Until we get season 2 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, boys, how do we feel about the future of the world of Westeros across all entertainment media?
I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling strong with it. As long as season 3 of House of the Dragon picks up the pace a little bit compared to season 2, because season 1 was still my favorite season of anything Game of Thrones, of House of the Dragon. It was, for me, every episode knocked those peaks. But this season of Knight of the Seven Kingdoms hit different peaks that I didn't realize, not just that I needed, but it was a different story that I really enjoyed as well. I like the quietness and the smallness of this story as much as I enjoyed House of the Dragon season 1, for its epicness and its veracity. So I kind of had this weird balance, and I haven't. Season 2 brought down season 1 for me a little bit from House of the Dragon, if that makes any sense. I just hope we don't have that decline, because we saw that decline happen with Game of Thrones. And it eventually the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones was fantastic all the way through. It had its slower episodes, but so
I'd even say the fifth was good as well.
Yeah, the fifth was good too. Yeah, it was when they went off book that you realize how you had to go at the speed of plot rather than the speed of actual characters getting from
off book.
Yeah, and I think that was really noticeable. So I think as long as they stay on book for season 2 of Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, as long as I guess they stay somewhat on book. Again, I don't know the books, but for House of the Dragon, I'm excited for what's coming out. I don't know too much about what the play is about. I didn't read too much into it this week. I had a very busy work week. But I'm excited to see what it is. Will I go see a play? I don't know. It depends on where it's playing. Does it come to LA? I don't know. But I'll be curious to see what the production is like in the, when they do the behind the scenes of it all and how that all plays out. So, yeah.
What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this season as well, and just these past 6 weeks, it's been weird because I haven't had anything that's been able to recapture how I originally felt about this world in so long. Because like those first 4 to 5 seasons of the original Game of Thrones is still like I do my best to isolate it from the back half of the show, because I just think it works so well on its own, and it's genuinely some fantastic fantasy stories, fantastic world building, and just good quality television. House of the Dragon season 1 definitely was close to how I felt back then, but this made me feel sort of that way again, but as Brett said, kind of in a different way than both of those things did. And, with those past shows, we spent a lot of time, like up here overlooking the broad scope of the world and what was going on. For really the first time to this extent, we got to be right down there in it. And I always because what would be the point of having these big, worlds if you don't get to know how they function, like what their day by day is like? What would be the point of having them there if they're just going to be empty dead drops? So getting to really explore the ins and outs of it was something I thought was terrific. I hope they continue that. And even though this felt a lot more personal, it still had so much world building. And if you can maintain that balance, I think your recipe for success is right there.
I agree. In terms of House of the Dragon season 3, I put up a reaction for the teaser. I like the teaser. Again, I liked season 2. There were moments that really got me.
It wasn't bad. It was just
it was bad.
But it wasn't season 1. I was saying it was not season 1.
And that's the same way I feel about. And running on. I know you haven't seen the show yet, but that's kind of the same way I felt whenever I was watching Superman and Lois a few years ago. I still love season 2. It is a drop from season 1, but I still think it's very solid.
But season 1, 3, and 4 were so
terrific.
I love that show. It's my favorite Superman of all time. So good.
And then Yeah, so like when that is your low point, that's a
Right.
good sign.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in terms of the Mad King, I'm intrigued by it. If HBO, if George R. R. Martin's, if anybody who's running a lot of this, the big IP, would like to fly me out to London to go check it out, review it, and do so, I will happily. I got a passport. I'm good. I'm game to do that, and I'll happily cover it if I can until we get more further information. And next year we're supposed to be getting this season 2. So hopefully, as long as it's not rushed, you don't need to rush it. Because again, before this show came out, it wasn't that much. I'm not saying there wasn't much hype. It slowly grew and grew, and then once it hit the fan, it's been the water cooler talk for these past 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and that's the best.
I'm just
thing
glad we don't have to wait till 2028 that we're getting it next year. And that's the good thing about this, because it's small and contained, and I feel like that they can get it out a little quicker. Yeah. And that also kind of I asked the question, what happens if they kind of, make some of these smaller contained shows where you can get it out every year? And I feel like that is definitely possible. Granted, only 6 stories, but
do more of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Folks, thank you so much for taking the time out of your night to hang out with us and talk a Night of the Seven Kingdoms finale. Muchachos, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.
Of course.
Please, as we do usually, go around the corner and promote yourself, let people know where they can find you, and plug anything you got coming out in the not too distant future. Let's start with Jake.
All right. You can really find me at Joypad Jake on YouTube. I do my own series, Jake's Lost Levels, on Sundays. We have probably another Lego stream coming up this Sunday, if I've counted correctly. Tomorrow, I have a video coming out about Absolute Green Arrow, because we just got a lot of plot details about what that's going to be like. Then, rankings, character breakdowns, Let's Play episodes, kind of my general flavor there. Going through a bit of life changes, could very well be seeing some results on those in the very close future. So once those happen, we'll get kind of a regular upload schedule going again. But that's what's coming down the pipeline in the very near future. So more will be unveiled in time.
Nice. Brent?
You can catch me at Age of Grogu, and I basically just dropped a few more episode reactions for season 1 of One Piece, re-reactions as I'm calling them, because I've already seen the show before, and I just wanted to revisit it before season 2 comes out, which I'll be reacting to that as well when it comes out. And of course, more Shadow Lord will be coming out later this year, which I'm extremely hyped for in about a month and a half's time. So I'll be reacting to that. I kind of regret not reacting to Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but work gets in the way, and between editing and stuff like that, it just becomes a bit tight for schedule and time. So I'll drop reactions when I can. I also do unboxings. I also do, toy builds, stuff like that. A lot of which are sitting on my computer unedited because I haven't had time to edit that stuff. And then I got sick over the weekend, so I'm like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Folks, go follow the muchachos. You can subscribe to the channel. The more the channel grows, the more I can ensure monetization, and the more it grows in numbers, and then the more I can do these crazy ideas. Again, I want to be able to have the opportunity that, like, on a random Tuesday or Monday, I fly out to where Jake's at or where Brent's at, and be like, yo, let's go film something, and let's go pick up some food, and we'll do something. And if we could do that, that is the home stretch I want to reach with this channel, and what we can do on any type of genre. Like Brent was alluding to, I too am also a big Star Wars fan. I dropped a reaction to the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. Maul Shadow Lord coverage is coming down the line. Don't be surprised if we do a weekly stream like we did for Night of the Seven Kingdoms for Maul Shadow Lord. And I'll tease it that I'm working on another Star Wars theory video concerning the Mandalorian and Grogu. When it comes out, who knows? But it's been something I've been thinking about a lot, even before the movie was announced, of what they might tackle down the line. And you can see that hopefully pretty soon and not too long after. Folks.
I'm also very close to monetization too. I'm hoping to hit it by the summer.
Yeah.
Same. I'm actually close to monetization as well for the first time in years.
And but yeah, folks, this season you'll see Invincible season 4, Daredevil Born Again season 2, Maul Said Lord. Obviously, we said it beforehand. Mandalorian and Grogu, Adventures of Cliff Booth, Supergirl, a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline.
Don't forget the big one.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men 87 season 2. Yes.
Oh yeah, when is that? Is that later in the year? In September?
That's summer. And
That's summer.
Nice, nice.
And
my
that got
hope
some
is
hours.
that my hope is that probably they drop a teaser during WonderCon, but we'll see. We'll see.
maybe.
Which, by the way,
Maybe.
I'm going to WonderCon. I've got my tickets. I'll be heading there.
Oh, nice.
Professional pass. So I get in free.
Nice.
When is that?
It's in late
The
March.
22nd, 27th to the 29th. I believe.
That's in LA also, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Anaheim.
Anaheim. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bring any questions or comments you have about the season as a whole, and for the realm, y'all.